Update. My fiancée of 4 years randomly claimed I abused her and called the police. This came completely out of the blue. Original post. I honestly don't know what happened. A couple of days ago, my girlfriend who I live with left our apartment while I was at work, claimed to her family and mutual friends that I'd been physically abusing her and blocked me on everything. I have no idea what's going on. There weren't any major problems in our relationship that I could see, and we just had consensual sex last night. The very last time I spoke to her before all of this happened, she was perfectly fine, kissed me goodbye before I went to work, and everything was normal. Then I got a call from my dad towards the end of the day, asking me calmly if I'd been hitting my girlfriend. I didn't know what he was talking about, and then she told me. I rushed home, and she had gotten all of her stuff and is staying either with her family or a friend of hers. My Facebook account is blowing up, and I have no idea what to do. None of what is being said is true, and I don't know if someone is just playing a cruel joke on me. A few people even mentioned that the police were called, but I haven't heard anything as of yet. The last major argument we had was probably in February, around Valentine's Day. We were going through some financial trouble. The stress got to us, and we were both getting upset with each other over petty household things. She was my best friend, the person I could rely on to be there for me, and the person I would be there for always, no matter what. We were definitely planning on getting married. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. Her family had basically accepted me into the family. I was close with both her mum and her dad. I only called them both once each. Neither of them answered my calls. I called my, ex just twice. No answer. She blocked me on every social media platform of hers that I know of. I asked a couple of friends, but they were being distant with me. Just one-word answers or ghosting me. What the F is happening here? We'd always been upfront and honest with each other, and our communication was stellar. My reaction for OP. You definitely need to talk to her or her friends OP to find out what's going on. Now for the updates. Update 1. Okay, so this is going to be a weird-ass update. I'm sorry if you guys thought this was going to be anything interesting. A friend came forward and told me that apparently my dumbass fiancée decided to play a prank on me. She had the bright idea of leaving the house for a couple of days to set up a surprise birthday party for me, set for this weekend. I don't know what the F she was thinking. Nor do I even really know the full story yet. She is not really the prank-playing type, and I guess thought this would be hilarious or something. It looks like a majority of those friends who were acting distant were in on it. After I started being upfront and honest with showing people my texts with her, as this sub suggested, one of them told her that this wasn't cool, and that if she didn't come clean, then he would. Well, she didn't come clean, and he came forward. I guess that's why nobody was answering their texts. Anyway, I texted her and I told her that I knew. Asked her what the F she was thinking. She started blowing my phone up apologizing. She said her prank just went too far and spiraled out of control when it got to social media, and that she didn't know how to come clean when she realized that it crossed the line. She also said that she didn't mean to let it come out that I was abusing her, and that she just wanted to make it seem like she had left me, and that the abuse stuff was a rumor started by some other people who weren't in on her joke. I just didn't really respond to her. I left and went to my parents' house before she got back home. My family now thinks she's an effing moron, so her relationship with them is ruined right before our marriage. So that's great. Our mutual friends are now split in half, with half of them thinking she's an idiot, and the other half feeling God knows what about the situation. I'm frankly embarrassed and feel stupid for wasting everyone's time and dragging them into my relationship with my fiancé. I don't really know where to go from here. I don't know if I should call off the wedding or postpone it and try to work out what the hell went through her mind. I'm sorry if this isn't the ending to the story you were all hoping for. I'm having drinks and we'll be here all night, feeling sorry for myself and answering comments for as long as I'm awake with this Jameson. Final update. So, firstly, thanks for all your input. I read and considered every single reply. First, I'll update you. then I'll tie up some loose ends from the comments in the previous post. I want to apologize for the bluntness of this post ahead of time because despite your comments about me being calm and level-headed, I'm actually quite upset about the entire situation, and I feel like me sitting and thinking about it is only marinating this anger and making it more juicy and flavorful. I spoke to her in person after I posted my update. From her perspective, her original idea was to make it look like she just got mad or something, grabbed a few things and left to her friend's house, where she was going to have the party thrown. Her friend has a really nice house that's perfect for a 20 to 30 person get-together. She was with her two friends and made an off-the-cuff remark when her friend said, "What are you going to say?" when he asks why, and she said, "I don't know. I'll probably tell him that I feel like he got too serious when we had sex or something like that." Then her other friend, who was with her, immediately took to social media without the other two girls knowing. And then, when they checked their phones later on that day, it was already a dumpster fire. I said, "Great, all that is understandable. Just one question. Why did you then block me and then refuse to answer my calls? Because that seemed pretty effing intentional to me." She said because she didn't want to throw her idiot friend under the bus and thought it would all go away if she just threw the party, and she hadn't realized how far it all went so quickly. I thanked her for telling me, and then I called off the wedding entirely. She cried. I cried. It was a goddamn mess. She asked where we go from here. I told her I don't know. I don't even know if the relationship is over yet, but I know that the engagement is over, and that if I decide to give it another chance, at the bare minimum, we need to build my trust for her from the ground up, if not the entire relationship. And now I have to decide if I want to do that. Do I want to spend another 4 years being undecided? If I'm being honest with myself, I imagine it taking another couple of years before I can trust her again. Do I want to get married and start thinking about having children at 35, 36, close to 40? I told her that I have a lot to think about. I spoke to her dad last night. We shared a case of beers and had a conversation that lasted about 5 hours. My ex hasn't spoken to anyone and has basically been locked up in her old bedroom for now. She's been crying a lot. I do believe that she's genuinely remorseful about all of this, which complicates things. Her dad caught wind of the situation on Facebook, but learned what was really going on maybe like an hour later. He'd gotten my calls, but hadn't returned them because he called his daughter first. She told him and he just didn't know what to say to her. He told me that she's not truly stupid, but that she has a history of sometimes not thinking about things before she says them, and the impact her offhand remarks can have. He said, "This is the worst it's ever snowballed." But she's had situations in the past where she says something stupid or insulting and doesn't realize the impact of what she said until hours later when the other person blows up over it. So that's it. I still have a lot to think about. I know a lot of you guys are telling me that I have no balls for not literally tossing her out into traffic and laughing about it, or something weird like that. But you have to understand that I still love her and have loved her for a few years now. Right now, I'm leaning toward moving on, but you're going to have to empathize with me here. As for my reputation, nobody thinks I'm an abuser. It's firmly out there now. Her reputation took a much more significant and lasting hit. I haven't lost any friends, except for the idiot social media girl. His reputation also took a severe hit. Nobody called the cops. All the other posts about it have been deleted. Everything is good. There's no need for me to get a lawyer and sue anybody. My family agrees with a lot of you. They're 2 seconds away from slapping me upside my head for not immediately kicking her to the curb. Just give me some time. I'm not going to make another update post because I've already wasted too much of your time with this BS. But maybe I'll just update this post in a few days after I've decided what to do. Story 2. Update. Am I the asshole here for laughing in my sister-in-law's face when she de-intested my daughter? Original post. I, 30 male, have a daughter who's 6. I am not biologically related to her at all. There is no blood relation between us. I was friends with her mother for most of my childhood. We were never involved romantically and were always just friends. She had her daughter at 23 with her 25-year-old husband when my daughter was a newborn, about 3 months technically, Both her mother and father were killed. I won't go into too much detail for privacy reasons, but it was a workplace shooting. My friend and her husband had worked in the same building and were both killed. Both my friend and her husband had grown up with less than ideal families and didn't have any siblings, so there wasn't any next of kin for their daughter to go to. However, because I was close with them, I was able to adopt her. Even though I had been iffy about the idea of kids, I didn't want their daughter to grow up in foster care or around people who didn't have a connection to her bio parents, so I stepped in. My parents and siblings know that my daughter is not my actual daughter, biologically speaking. My daughter, I'll call her Lily for the post, also knows that she's adopted. I never really hid the fact that she was adopted. She knows her parents are dead and were killed by a bad man, but I'm saving the details for when she's older. Lily does not look like me at all. She looks exactly like her mother and biological dad. Most people assume that I'm her bio dad and that she just took after her mum. I don't ever really correct this when and if people assume this because it just seems unnecessary. My brother has been with his fiancée for about 2 years now. A few weeks ago, we were all at a meeting at my parents' house, and my sister-in-law saw an old picture of me, my friend, and her husband. She pointed to my friend and asked who she was, and I explained that was Lily's mother. Sister-in-law got quiet and stood in front of the picture for a while. I didn't think much of it. To clarify, she knows my friend died, but I guess didn't know that she had been married or that Lily is not my bio daughter. I suppose she assumed my daughter was mine and my friend's biological daughter. My sister-in-law got a DNA test done on my daughter behind my back. She used my brother's DNA for the test, and when it came back that they weren't related, she knew. That meant me and Lily weren't related. She came up to me with the results and waved them in my face, saying that I was taking care of a dead woman's affair baby. She said this to me in front of my daughter. I just stared at her for a while before bursting out laughing at this. I told her I knew Lily wasn't my biological daughter and that this thing called adoption exists. Her face went red and she stormed off. My brother is mad. I embarrassed his fiancée. But I said she embarrassed herself by DNA testing a kid that isn't hers and then parading the results up to me. What does she want me to do? What was her goal with this? Did she want me to break down and abandon my daughter? My brother said she thought she was doing the right thing and called me an asshole. I don't feel like the asshole, especially considering my sister-in-law was the one who stuck her nose where it didn't belong. I'm asking for Reddit opinions, mostly just for validation, so was I the asshole? Now for the update. My sister-in-law ended up coming to my house and apologizing, as well as telling me the full story. My brother put her up to a DNA test. When I first adopted Lily, my brother for some reason believed that Lily was also my bio daughter. He thought that me and Lily's mum were together and just weren't telling anyone. He believes that when she got pregnant, Lily's mum told me that Lily was mine and that she was going to just say that it was her husband's, and I went along with it because I didn't really want kids. Sister-in-law was under the impression I believed I was Lily's bio dad. She saw the picture of Lily's mum and I, and after asking for clarification on who she was, assumed we were together in it, and then got suspicious when she saw that the other guy in the picture, Lily's actual bio dad, looked a lot like Lily. I also want to clarify, I didn't tell her that Lily's bio dad was in the picture because she had specifically pointed to Lily's mum, and I assumed she knew that Lily was adopted. I didn't know my brother had been telling her lies for nearly 2 years. She got the DNA test out of her own suspicions, and my brother helped her with it because he thought it would reveal that I was actually Lily's bio dad. He manipulated her into thinking that it would clear the air of suspicion, when really, he was just trying to prove that I was really Lily's bio dad and lying about the reasons for adoption. Well, of course, the results proved I wasn't Lily's bio dad and that my brother was wrong. My brother felt too embarrassed to confess to his fiancée that he had lied about the circumstances, which is why sister-in-law confronted me with the results. My sister-in-law also apologized for showing me the results in front of my daughter. She told me that her mum had an affair and cheated on her father, got pregnant with another man's kid, and had let her father believe the kid was his. Her father was devastated by this when he found out. and she grew very resentful of women who do that to their spouses. She had wanted to sit me down and talk to me about it without my daughter. But when she saw me with my daughter, she got angry, thinking I was being led to believe I was raising my daughter when I was actually raising another man's kid, and she ended up exploding and immediately waved the results in my face. My sister-in-law does feel very guilty, and she's angry at my brother for lying to her. I'm not angry at her for doing the test because she thought she was doing the right thing. I also forgave her for the way she told me about the results because clearly affairs are a sensitive subject for her, and I can understand why she would have exploded like that. I'm pretty sure she plans to break up with my brother now, and I don't blame her. When I called and asked my brother about this, he admitted it. When I asked why he would think this, he said that he couldn't think of a reason why a man who had been against having kids at the time would willingly adopt a baby without having a blood connection to it. He told sister-in-law that I was Lily's bio-dad and was aware of the fact. He took it a step further and said that me and Lily's mum were together at the time of Lily's conception. Both me and my parents are going low contact with my brother for a while now. I know I will forgive my brother eventually, but I can't do that right now. He believed I was low enough to have an affair with a married woman, get her pregnant, and take no responsibility. Allow her to pass off this kid as another man's, and then only take responsibility because her mum died. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you.